This Carlito said, "I'll come get you."
Oh, goodness. That is one. Can you imagine?
If you come at the king, you best not miss.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this contest and new
Acknowledge us.
Hey, guys. We here at the Red Carpet Ring. We'll talk about WWE Raw. Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman add a new wrinkle to WrestleMania 41 main event. Guys, get the likes of as we come into the ring. We're going to talk about it. Also, we're going to do two. We'll go over Raw. We'll talk about everything. We'll also discuss what happened on the show, grading, and everything else. Then finally, we'll get to current news, and bonus round for today is predicted WrestleMania 41 shockers. We're gonna talk about what may end up happening at WrestleMania 41. So let's talk about it. You guys get the license. We come in, like I said. Let's go over Raw. First off, let's look at the match card for Raw, shall we? All right, this is the match card as follows, as advertised. We had a contract signing of Io, Rhea, and Bianca for the triple threat match. We also had Lyra versus Bayley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship title match. We had another title match, World Tag Team Championship match. War Raiders defending tag team titles against the New Day. Gunther and Jey Uso have a segment. Penta versus Dominic 1-on-1. And we had El Grande Americano. And then, of course, the main segment of the night, Paul Heyman, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. Let's go to the opening segment here. All right. We are talking about the contract signing here between these three women. Now, I know Adam Pearce has been getting tired of these three women going at it. He opened it by introducing Io first, then the challenger, Bianca, and then Rhea Ripley got a big pop. However, Adam Pearce announced a triple threat match. Bianca was not feeling that. She said, "You do everything to earn everything." And of course, Rhea Ripley don't do nothing but complain. She's at the title match. Then of course they get into it like they normally do. And that's next thing you know, and face to face, the Io, they push her off. The Io, of course, is get tired of being underestimated, even though she's champion. She attacks both Rhea, drop kick Rhea with a missile drop kick, and it said that she could have, hurt her nerves when she bumped into Bianca. But if you guys remember, that's what happened at that segment. But let's look a little bit, it's real slow motion. If you guys remember that, that's what happened there. So it looked like she bumped to her, of course, accidental. But that was the end of that segment. Let's go on to the next part of the show. Next part of the show, we had our first title of the night. We had Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria 1-on-1. Now, the last time these two fought each other, it was a qualifying match for the Chamber. Bayley won. This time, Lyra wanted to get a win over Bayley, especially defend her title. Very, very good back and forth. I know Bayley was targeting the head and neck of Lyra. Lyra came back. She had a good Boston crab or hook her ankle. Very good one. Bayley tried the Rose play, but Lyra Valkyria countered, rolled her up, and got the pinfall victory. Bayley looked upset at first. Bayley, Lyra put her hand out for good sportsmanship, and Bayley was not feeling that first. Then she came back and hugged Lyra, and that was a good match. Good match, very good match, very good match between these two women. Very good technicality, very good offense from both women. Let's move on to the next match of the show. Next match we had here: LWO versus American Made and El Grande Americano. This is a good match of these two teams. We know that's Chad Gable, a different character, and it was in his hometown, Minnesota, too. I might add, Chad Gable's hometown. But during the match, Ivy now handed a piece of metal to put on the mask of Americano, El Grande Americano. He headbutted his way to win by pinning Dragon Lee. Rey Mysterio saw that. He was not happy with that. And of course, that caused El Grande Americano and the Creed Brothers to get a pinfall victory over LWO. But very good match, though. It was a very good match. I like how this went down. Very good of both teams. I like the moves set by LWO. Quad King Wild, they did the flips, the very good move as well. Yeah, this was a good segment of the show. I like how this went down. Very good way of doing that. So I like how that went down. Both matches very good. I like what's going to happen next, but we know that Rey Mysterio was not happy about that victory. He had enough. Now he stormed into Adam Pearce's office to complain about El Grande Americano. He did not like how that ended. He knew, and Adam Pearce even knew as well, that he cheated to win that match. He knew that's what it went down to. He knew that was not cool. He knew that was not the way things should have went down. But I will say that it was bound to. We was wondering with Rey Mysterio if he was going to be on the WrestleMania 41 card. We was wondering if it was going to go down or not, because he had not been announced for a match. And Chad Gable or El Grande Americano also not announced for a match. But the game changer is, of course, we know that a match was made between these two. Adam Pearce made it official. So at WrestleMania, we will get Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. It's going down. So that will be official. More than that, though, this was a very good match between both teams. Let's move on to the next part of the show. All right, we had Jey Uso confronting Gunther. Jey Uso came down to the ring, sunglasses on, no yeet clothes, plain black t-shirt. He said that he had to talk to his mom about how that Jimmy Uso got 15 stitches due to the attack last week from Gunther, which Jey Uso mentioned that you wiped the blood all over you. You embarrassed Jimmy and Jay, made them both look bad. Had Jay handcuffed to the ropes, and he said he made a promise. He gonna pray to God that he hope God forgive for the man he gonna become. Because at WrestleMania 41, Jey Uso got the momentum ahead of him. He told Gunther, "You know what? I realized I'm not afraid of you no more." He said, "Before WrestleMania, hug, kiss your family." Promising to pray for the both of them, but mostly him and the man he's about to become. And he said, "I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get you." So Gunther looked the most serious he looked. He was smiling at first. He looked like he knew Jay was not messing with him. So this is really gonna heat up the feud between Jey Uso and Gunther at WrestleMania 41. Is going down. Let's get on to the next part of the show. All right, we had a one-on-one match. We had Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. Had a good one-on-one match. Penta, he got tired of Dominic, but we know that during the matchup, that some bad was going to happen. We know that the four-way match is happening for the Intercontinental title. But at the end of the day, Penta defeated Dominic Mysterio. And we know that afterwards we saw Braun Breaker come out, massive spear to Carlito, because we know they attacked Penta after the match. Then we saw Finn Balor come out to get Braun Breaker. But this is a good spear. Braun Breaker got a spear that cannot be beaten. And nothing is going to top that spear. And I mean nothing's going to top that spear. If you guys remember that spear that night,
This
spear was
Carlito
second
said,
to
"I'll come
none.
get you."
Oh, goodness. That is one. Can you imagine?
That is one of the best spears I've ever seen in my life. And Braun Breaker did say he got the best spear in the business, and I believe it. He did not tell a lie. Not one
I'm
bit.
tired of being nice. Tell me when I'm telling lies.
So that was amazing. Like to see that. But other than that, though, that was good. Very good thing there. Let's get on to the next part. Yeah, this was a good part. This was a good part, though. Very good part of that. But let's go over another thing I want to talk about too. Another match I'm about to talk about in a second. We got to talk about the World Tag Team Championship match. So let me get to that real quick, because this is they actually didn't talk about the world title match, but other than that, though, which I'll mention right now, we had what's the match here? The World Tag Team Championship, World Race versus New Day. This was not really a big match to talk about. Nothing to brag about that much. I mean, the match ended in disqualification. New Day was trying to cheat. They grabbed the chair, and they grabbed the chair. Um, I think Ivar had it when Kofi gave it to him. Ref saw that, called a DQ on the whole thing, and that pretty much was the end of that. New Day did not win a tag team belts, but they did win disqualification via disqualification, and War Raiders retained the tag team belts. I expect them to have a match again, maybe at WrestleMania. If not one-on-one, maybe a triple threat or a four-way, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next after that. Meanwhile, we'll get to the final segment of the show. Let's get into that. Final segment of the show, we got Seth Rollins confronting Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman came out, and Seth Rollins came out. Seth Rollins wanted to basically try to manipulate Paul Heyman. He wanted him to remove himself from Snare WrestleMania, stay out of his business. Seth Rollins wanted himself, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns to handle their business in Las Vegas in triple threat, no Paul Heyman being in Punk's corner. And Paul Heyman said he can't do it. Then Rollins said, he would volunteer to do it. He'll do a stomp to the back of the head and ask anyone who would save him with Reigns and Punk not there. And then he got physical with Paul Heyman, pushing him and shoving him. And he also let him know, too, that when Paul Heyman got attacked by the Bloodline, was Punk or Roman there for him? He said no. Now, we do know that Punk he did come back for the War Games match to help the Bloodline, but he's trying to, use mind games and manipulate Paul Heyman. And while CM Punk did come out, we knew that Seth Rollins was doing this to get CM Punk to come out, which he did. He came out, it was going back and forth, and ended up with Seth Rollins curb stomping CM Punk. He was attempting to curb stomp Paul Heyman, but he said, you owe me a favor. So he really wants Paul Heyman out this match. And that was the end of the segment there. Well, let's go over what happened on Monday Night Raw. Let's go over here. We have some good stuff going on as a whole. Not too bad there. Now, as a rating, After everything that happened, we had 2 title matches. We had good segments. We had mostly segments though. Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. We had Jay Gunther. We had two. We had the contract signing. My rating on this will be 3.5 out of 5. That was okay show. One of my most favorite show, but it wasn't terrible either. It was okay. We do have WrestleMania a week from Saturday for night 1, and of course night 2 later on as well. So we got to keep that in mind. Other than that, though, that's what I thought of the show of Monday Night Raw. Um, some matches were a little bit let down. It was okay, but that's how I saw the show. That's how I viewed it. But you guys let me know, what did you think of Monday Night Raw? What's your take on the whole review as a whole of the show? Other than that, but I thought it was okay. I thought it wasn't too bad. It was just average to me, in my opinion. But other than that, you guys let me know what you think of the show. Now, of course, as always, as usual, you guys can always vote on the community tab. What you think of the show? And then let's see what people are saying. We got 70% gave it an A, B gave it a 12% gave it a B, 11% gave it a C, 7% gave it D or F. So let's move on to what went right and what went wrong with Raw. Let's go on to it. All right, first thing went wrong with Raw. I did not like this segment with Otis and this Brett guy, whatever his name is, shirts off and all that. Back to his Vince McMahon goofy stuff. So with that, was not feeling that at all.
You know what's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
So that's one thing I did not like about Monday Night Raw. Second thing, Jey Uso here. Jey Uso without the yeet. I think this is the end of the yeet with Jey Uso. I think they're slowly taking you down. I know he had the yeet sunglasses on, but do not be surprised if this is the end of the yeet, man. That's all I'm saying. Don't be surprised if that's the end of that. So that definitely sucks. That's how they gonna end it, but we knew that yeet was slowing down, so.
You know what's gonna happen? No. Words? No. You just made the list.
All right, let's go to what went right with Raw. All right, we'll go over the things when we're right with the show. Oh, before we do, one more thing of what went wrong. Of course, I mentioned it earlier. The botch with Io Sky and this whole nose thing with Rhea Ripley. I did not like that at all. If you guys remember it, with the missile drop kick. Not a fan of that at all.
No. Words? No. You just made the list.
But let's go on to what went right with Raw. What went right with Raw, I will say one thing. The Punk and Seth story is getting intriguing. I will say it's getting intriguing there. I do like where this is going. With the favor, Seth Rollins won for Paul Heyman. So they're really trying to do their best to really up the ante on the storyline and make more intriguing for WrestleMania 41. So that's a plus in my book, and especially if it's night 1. So I'm on board with this.
Yeet.
It's one thing I liked on Raw. Another thing, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley was a great match. Lyra Valkyria has been a solid women's Intercontinental champion. I can't wait to see how much longer she gonna have the belt for, but I like her champ better than I do Chelsea Green. So that right there, I'm definitely on board with that. And I wonder if they're gonna have another match, Bayley and Lyra at WrestleMania. Not official, but I like where this is going. Could be the case. Could be the case.
Yeet.
So that's all I have for what went wrong and what went right. Now let's talk about next week's matches. Next week's Raw. Next week Raw, we will have Roman Reigns return to Monday Night Raw. I'm pretty sure it's the first time he will be on TV since being betrayed by Paul Heyman on his past SmackDown, deciding to be in CM Punk's corner for WrestleMania 41 after being advised by Roman Reigns not to. Also, WrestleMania 41 matches update as stated. Let's go over the matches updated. We got official. We do have Io Sky versus defending championship against Bianca Belair, the Elimination Chamber winner, and Rhea Ripley, former champion. Another match that was announced. We do have a four-way for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker defends the Intercontinental Championship against Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. And another match that was announced as well for WrestleMania is, as I stated earlier, Rey Mysterio going one-on-one versus El Grande Americano. So 3 matches have been updated for the WrestleMania 41 match card for April 19th and April 20th. So we are pretty sure they update a few more. SmackDown is Friday. But with that being said, let's move on to current news. Current news we got here. Kelly and Nikki Bella have signed contracts. Kelly had a Legends deal, so she will be back at WWE. Also, we do have something going on with Nikki Bella as well. She is going to be on a part-time basis, stated right here. Fightful Select, and this one here also Fightful Select. It says here Nikki Bella is on good terms with WWE, and she is expected to make an in-ring return. This could be on a part-time schedule like many of her peers have done in the recent past. The report states that the company wants to do more with Nikki so the fans can keep an eye out for her appearance, and we know that Nikki's been trained and everything, so that's good news. Get to see that. Other than that, though, what do you guys think of Nikki Bella and Kelly recently signed deals with WWE? Other than that, though, let's move on to the bonus round, shall we? And bonus round, we already know, will be about WrestleMania 41 shockers. So let's get that started. Shocking endings we will talk about in a very much second. Let's see what's going to happen. I got a few scenarios that I've been thinking about lately of how WrestleMania 41 could end for some of these matches that are as advertised. So we're going to get that started. Give me a couple moments. Get that going. All right, guys. I got a few scenarios here. We'll go over the match that is advertised for WrestleMania 41, and then I'm going to also talk about how this whole thing will end, because could get some shockers here. Maybe not so much to some people if you follow the channel. It may not be a shocker, but maybe not the most popular decision, I should say, for that matter. So let's get that going. Let's talk about that, because we definitely going to talk about it. Let's start off with one thing first. First things first. First thing I want to talk about here, we are going to talk about the Intercontinental Championship that was just announced. Now, we got ourselves here a four-way of Braun Breaker defending the championship against Penta versus Dom and Finn Balor. And Finn Dom Balor, we know, is at the Judgment Day. Now, It could look like that maybe Dominic's going to win because it's showing that Liv is manipulating Dom to turn on Finn Balor. It could very well be the case, and I'm not saying it's not the case. That's how it's looking. That's how it's heading to look. But at the ending of that match, of the ending, do not be surprised if we get my ending, the shock ending to that match. Don't be surprised if it's Finn Balor walking out with the Intercontinental Championship, not Dominic Mysterio, and Liv Morgan could side with Finn Balor and not Dom. Because you gotta remember, Dom had Finn Balor had that whole hotel key thing, the whole hotel key situation. They grabbed for Liv and he put it back and he said he gave it back to Dom. Something fishy with that whole storyline with the hotel key, if you guys remember that. So I don't know, but keep an eye out on that. That's one prediction I have for that particular match. But let's move on to some more matches. Another one I would talk about here. We are going to talk about the Women's World Championship in the Triple Threat. We knew it was going to eventually come to Triple Threat. It was originally Io versus Bianca. Then Rhea had the whole special guest referee match. But if you notice with this whole rivalry here, Bianca's been wearing more black lately. Could signify, and black lipstick, I might add, and still look nice in that EST great outfit. We could notate too that Bianca could be signifying a heel turn because she's tired of being disrespected. You could tell when she's mentioned on Raw how she's worked so hard to get a WrestleMania main event for a title, and Rhea just got added to the match. Bianca's not happy with that, and she did the whole special guest referee that Adam Pearce asked her to, and she got pushed by Io and Rhea. She didn't like that, but I will say with her animosity towards Rhea and back and forth. My prediction, we thinking that Bianca may walk out with the title. Prediction, shocker, and Io Sky will retain the Women's World Championship. Maybe Io because they kept underestimating her. Bianca and Rhea keep pushing her out the way. Maybe like she don't matter. She don't make a difference in the match. Despite her being the champion, she could be the champion that retains her Women's World Championship at WrestleMania 41 Triple Threat. I'm just saying. We don't not be surprised if Io retains her title and walks out WrestleMania 41 Triple Threat and Bianca and Rhea looking all like, dang, we underestimated her. So that could be one. That's another shocking ending. Another one I'm gonna go over right now. We got the Jade Cargill and Naomi one-on-one for WrestleMania 41. Now we know this has been going on since the whole Jade Cargill got attacked. But Naomi, I had my reservations in the very beginning of her being a heel. And I know that's not the original plan WWE went with storyline, and they had to call audible due to Jade Cargill's injury, taking much longer than expected for her to recover. But since she's been rocking this whole caution thing with her new attire and her promo skills been up there, she upped the ante a lot. And we know that we know that Bianca is involved, but it's mostly Jade and Naomi we're talking about. I will say with that too, with the whole thing going on with that, Naomi put out her best work of her career. Best work of her career. I'm not denying that at all. She's been putting in great work. She's been showing us why she's not to be messed with. She cut a great vignette on SmackDown, if you guys remember. She's been doing her thing. I gotta give her what credit's due. So I'm definitely very happy of how this whole Naomi Hill character has gone. No more glow, none of that. And we gotta remember too, for the past upcoming weeks, especially Elimination Chamber, Jay Cargill has been getting the upper hand on Naomi a lot. That's all we've been seeing. Naomi down, getting kicked, getting attacked by Jade. Naomi had a few, licks, of course. But my shocking end at this match, I would say at the end of the day, I would say that when it comes down to it, when it comes to Naomi versus Jade Cargill, we think that Jade is going to beat Naomi, because she's the babyface, a big star that they're making her to. I would say Naomi will defeat Jade Cargill at WrestleMania 41. Naomi will get the win. Naomi could get a sneak up roll up. She get maybe, I don't know, some type of way she's gonna use her heel persona to win that match. So that'll be another shocking win. And last but not least, we are talking about the triple threat: Seth Rollins versus Roman versus CM Punk. We know that Roman was taken out by Seth. We know that CM Punk and Seth Rollins had a cage match, which Roman came in to get receipts back on Seth. CM Punk recently got receipts on Roman, and Roman then getting at CM Punk for CM Punk eliminate both Roman and Seth at the Royal Rumble. But we know recently that CM Punk has asked Paul Heyman to be in his corner at WrestleMania. So we know that's the case there. We know that that's what he wants at the end of the day. But we gotta remember too that this is Seth Rollins we talking about, and he mentioned some good points at the recent episode of Raw. He stated that he told Roman, well, SmackDown, he told Roman, not Raw. He told Roman SmackDown, remember Heist of the Century, don't underestimate him. And then now he's using this. He got a favor for Paul Heyman. He want Paul Heyman to stay out the match. I think during this whole matchup, Punk and Roman got much animosity towards each other. At the end of the day, my prediction for this match, and I said this before, don't be surprised if Seth Rollins will win the triple threat match. And maybe he become a Paul Heyman guy, walking out with Paul Heyman. And people think it's gonna be Punk or Roman. Roman don't need to win. CM Punk don't even need to win. CM Punk has WrestleMania main event. I already stated what CM Punk and Roman gonna be doing next. CM Punk and Roman will have a rivalry. They'll have a one-on-one match later this year. But that's what I have going on. CM Punk and Roman will both lose to Seth. That's my prediction. And that's all I have for shocking endings to WrestleMania 41 for these particular matches. You guys let me know what you think. We talked about Raw, Seth Rollins, Paul Heyman, add a new regular to WrestleMania 41 contract. 41 main event. And also when they signed that contract of CM Punk getting his main event spot. Well, other than that, though, you guys let me know what you think. Check out the content of Red Carpet Ring. Until then, guys, you already know what it is at this point. It's OUT.
Something happened this weekend, and I have been struggling with it since I retired, but this weekend gave me closure.
Wow.
It really did. Like, it was fun. Obviously it was fun. I mean, you can't, doing this for as long as I have and